Welcome to the channel. My name's Jodie Knight. You can find my live portfolio over on eToro. The link is in the description down below. But in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about PayPal, take a look at the daily chart, what the weekly chart's doing, and then we'll also take a look at the open options interest. As well as that, we'll take a quick look at the general market, looking at this, the S&P, and then look at the economic data out today. I believe we've got jobs numbers, so that's going to be quite important. Okay, so jumping straight into the PayPal daily chart, I actually really like this chart, guys. It's breaking out of this downward trend here. It's still looking like a very strong basing pattern. I still think most of this price action is going to come over the coming quarters when they start letting us know about the advertising details and also the Fastlane product. I'm very excited to see the numbers of how that's going to convert in the coming quarters. But really strong basing pattern here, and finally above this level again. It's for the first time really holding above that level. Previous times had a little go here, couldn't hold it, had a little go here, couldn't hold it, and again I thought this one was going to do it, but we wicked down. We had that really rough week, but since then we've got back up here, which I really like. I did manage to buy some extra shares down here, so I'm very happy about that. But again, I think we're probably going to consolidate a bit more in this area and save up some energy to really break through this gap. This gap has been mammoth to break. I don't really see that happening in this quarter. Perhaps after next earnings, if we can just grind around here before the next earnings and then have a nice pop, that would make me very happy. But for the meantime, it's good to see we're above the bull market band, although I'd prefer if it flipped to the green line on top. That'd be much better. But for the most part, very happy with price action this week. RSI is getting a little bit hot, but nothing too worrying about. It's still got some upside, but like I mentioned, it's probably going to reject back off this $67 range. We'll be able to tell a little bit more about that if we look at the open options interest. The MACDX Plus, Golden Cross, love it. It's still separating, and institutions still in there, and retail's washed out. That is perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. And flow is pretty decent. Not excellent, but still bullish. Okay, looking over at the weekly chart again, this looks very bullish. We had this strong wick down on that market pullback, but the fact that we've managed to push back to where we were, that makes me feel very bullish and confident about this being the reversing area. On the indicators, we've got the RSI is fairly neutral. The bullish divergence has wiped out a little bit there. For the most part, we're still active on this death cross, but it's coming together on the weekly, and institutions still coming in and pushing retail out. That's perfect. I'd like to see that continue in the coming weeks. I think if we can really grind up here, that's going to bring together in a golden cross there. And for the first time on the weekly, we've got flows looking a little bit better. No golden bar yet. I think one's probably coming. I'm surprised there's not been one, actually. Definitely worth keeping an eye on that. But for the most part, same as on the daily, we're above this red downtrend. That makes me feel pretty confident. And then also above the bull market band and this volume shelf. So weekly's looking pretty good too, pretty strong. I guess some people could kind of say this was a head and shoulders play again, although this would be the second shoulder, so technically not a pattern I would trade, but I'm very confident that the break of that level, if I put a little line on here, the first measured move target for that's probably going to be around $80, which is bang on really what I would. PayPal should probably be trading about that now, to be honest. So you might be running out of time if you've been waiting to get into this one. Open options interest on this one, 65 is going to be the level to resist, but I mean we're kind of above that one, I think. So the next one is likely to be $69. But to the low side, 60 is going to be the support. As you can see on the chart, that's pretty much the range it's been stuck in. We've dipped below it, but I don't really expect it to go that low again. That would be crazy, and I would buy as much as I could get. But if we take a look at the following week, things are starting to look a little bit more bullish. I like that. And the next resistance is going to be $70. So if we look back on the chart, where this gap is, $67, and then the top is $72. So it's pretty much going to be trading in that. That's what people are expecting. We do have this gap back here, which is what we're looking at in the technical side of the chart. So it looks like people are expecting us to get stuck and trade in that range in the future, which is nice to see. If we take a look out to January 2025, the expected move's a lot larger, but if we pull this down a little bit, we can see targets are still pretty high, 140, 145 as resistance, and there's a little bit of $100. My fair value for PayPal currently is around about $100, so this is still a bargain in my opinion. Anything under $80 is still a buy. If we take another look out to 2026, for some reason these don't show still, but the target's still pretty high, $95 here, so that's nice to see. Taking a super quick look at the broader market, this buy here, still really hesitating on this volume shelf. So it has filled its gap here, so it's looking a little bit more bullish. But we could still come back off this. There's the jobs numbers today. I think the market's going to be paying super close attention to that, given the last big drops sort of started with the jobs numbers. Granted, there was the whole Japan carry trade and everything as well that really dragged us down. But I mean, the jobs numbers seem to have been where the fear started. So it's definitely worth paying attention to that. But if the jobs number's good and we get above this volume shelf, the market is starting to look quite bullish over this next quarter, which I like. Take a quick look at the QQQ2, probably showing the same thing, to be honest. Yeah. So we hesitated on this volume shelf here. I mean, the QQQ is a little bit different. It does have a lot of gaps here that it's going to want to try to fill. So I'd definitely be paying close attention to those levels. Economic data today, there is a bunch of stuff out, but mainly I think the market's going to be paying close attention to these numbers: initial jobless claims, continuing jobless claims, and there's just a bunch of other stuff in here as well. There's the Fed balance sheet. I mean, I don't think the market pays too much attention to that, but I like to see if they're still running stuff off. The Philly Fed data, there's some employment data in there as well with new orders and whatnot. So that's going to be good as well. I will be out today, so I won't be able to comment live on these as normal this week. But for the most part, just be cautious around these. I mean, it's happening before the market opens, so a lot of you won't have access to trading this. So by the time market opens, you should have a pretty good idea of where the trend is. So you might find some opportunity there. If these numbers are bad, then it depends how bad they are. If they're only a little bit bad, that could still be seen as good news. But if they're really bad, there's going to be more fear kicking in again. So just be cautious of that. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.